Welcome back to the podcast, the River Cantina podcast.
The Skyriver Cantina
podcast? Skyriver podcast. Skyriver Cantina podcast.
There you go. Now you're hitting it.
Welcome back. This is Zane and Dan back with you with Star Wars questions and knowledge, banter.
Yep, so the one we decided that we were going to start with was how many planets are in the Star Wars galaxy.
There's a lot of planets.
So, I got habitable systems when I looked it up, and that was 3.2 billion habitable systems orbiting around a supermassive black hole known as the galactic center. As for habitable planets, that's probably much less because the Empire, during the Empire time, it was 1.5 million member planets and 69 million colonies and puppet states under its direct control.
That's not including, like, dwarf planets, moons.
Well, I'm thinking
suns.
That's probably what the puppet states under its direct control is probably...
Like dwarf planets and moons?
And moons and things. It's 69 million. But that's still, that's still going to put it at less than 3.2 billion.
Yeah.
So, you had another number?
There are two numbers for Legends and Canon. In Legends, it's 3.2 billion. In Canon, in the movie universe, in the books, it's 3.2 million. So, that's quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, so I'm thinking with the Legends thing is they just went with the number of habitable systems that exist. And the actual canon went with, that might be habitable systems, but this amount of planets actually have people on them, probably.
And we don't know if they're considering a system a planet. Do they consider systems a planet, or do they consider systems as like a cluster of planets?
A system is the cluster of planets around a star.
Okay.
And there might not be there might only be one planet around a star, but a system is basically a star system. So, like our system, we're just one system in the entire Milky Way galaxy.
That makes sense.
So, it would be, we named our system the Sol system because our planet's name is Sol, because we named it Sol. But, some alien from across the way that happens to be looking at our system probably has some other damn name for our star, and since if they're actually able to probably do any kind of space travel, they probably are going to go, well, we named it this, and when they come to conquer us, as all aliens from other locations do, they're just going to keep the name that they gave it and screw us.
Stuck with it.
It's kind of the thing is do we want it to be the New Republic that says hi, or do we want it to be the Empire that says hi?
Who's giving us a better time at surviving instead of just mining for them?
The New Republic is going to be, hi, how's it going, guys, But they probably wouldn't show up and say anything to us until we had space travel.
Maybe, unless they needed help.
But the Empire would just straight flat out show up and subjugate.
Yeah, you'll just see the ship and TIE fighters come down.
But the thing is we would then get to be in the stars because...
Yeah, we're going to war.
Yeah, the thing with that is we're going to become part of the Galactic Empire.
Well, we might not go to war right away. They need to, give us classes, training.
They wouldn't care about any of that crap.
They need to
come in,
brainwash
subjugate, put us as workforce or whatever, and throw us off into the fucking... I would probably go, you know what? If I was younger, okay, and not it's the size of a planet, I would try to become a stormtrooper because then you can get off-world and into space and
that's what Han
around.
Solo did.
And then when you're done with it, you can serve your time as a stormtrooper and then retire out of the service and go anywhere you want to go. So in the Empire to on your planet. So that's what I would do. Like,
yeah, but that's still like 50 years to retirement.
No, you can retire sooner than that. You would sign up. You would sign up for a term of service.
But I don't think stormtroopers have that type
just like our
luck.
Just like our military. No. Clone troopers didn't have a choice. Stormtroopers are people that sign up for military service for however many years, just like our military. They can make it a life career, or they can just sign up for 2 or 5 or however many years it is, serve their time in, and then leave. Like normal. There are people that serve and leave. They don't live the whole life as a stormtrooper.
I didn't know that.
You can also defect or go AWOL or whatever, just
There's
like
a lot of those
like
going
any,
around.
or get dishonorably discharged like Han. But you see, Han joined because he didn't have any choice.
Well, okay, before you go any further, the movie says, well, he also didn't really have a choice, but he also went and got off world to get enough credits and get shit to get his girlfriend at the time off the planet with him.
So, Han, he originally was with a group of criminals that got him when he was a little kid and taught him how to be a criminal. And he got into a little bit of a scrape with them or whatever. And there was an elderly Wookie female that kind of sort of had raised him some. And he really loved her. And they ended up killing her and everything. And he fled and joined the Empire to become a pilot. And he was a damn good pilot. But you see, they had Chewie chained up, and they were abusing Chewie, and they did it in front of him. And he then, I'm not sure exactly if he hit somebody or whatever, but he stood up for Chewie.
Yeah, I think he speaks Wookiee.
Technically, at the time, humans weren't supposed to be able to vocally speak Wookiee. Eventually, they made it where you could speak Wookiee, but you could understand Wookiee, and he knew how to understand Wookiee because he was raised basically by a Wookiee, so he understood Wookiee.
Yeah, I think that was in the movie a little bit.
But then at the same time, he didn't, because there was other stories. Like, I believe it was the Han Solo, or not, that was the Han Solo Adventures or something. But he didn't quite understand Wookiee completely, apparently.
But he could probably, know
which
some
was
words.
a contradiction, because he was raised by a Wookiee, pretty much. A Wookiee would take care of him, feed him stuff, inside that gang and stuff. And, so he knew how to communicate with a Wookiee, but then at the same time, there was times at the beginning of the story of him and Chewbacca that he wouldn't understand what Chewie was saying. So it was a little weird, but he eventually did learn the entire Wookiee language because, his co-pilot was Wookiee, so he, and his best friend was a Wookiee, was Chewie. But he joined because he was running away from the gang. So he joined up and then saved Chewie, and then Chewie swore the life debt to him, and Han was absolutely annoyed by that. And in the process of him serving, he did something very honorable or whatever, and he got the Corellian blood stripes on his pants. Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I need to look that one up. But basically, they only ever really mention it as it's a really honored thing to have the Corellian blood stripes, and it's a award given to you from Corellia, from the Corellian government and people to another Corellian for something that they've done. And he was getting court-martialed, and they ripped off all of his insignia and scuffed his boots and stuff like that, and everything. But the one thing that they couldn't touch, and it specified that, was his Carillion blood stripes, because the Empire didn't give them to him. So they couldn't actually they couldn't rip them off his uniform. But they could everything else. And that's the reason why Han actually had those black boots, is because he was actually an Imperial pilot, and them black boots were his Imperial boots. He still had them. And then that's when he starts off with Chewie doing stuff. But, and he was actually a little annoyed with Chewie and everything, because he didn't want him around him. And then he was playing a card game with one of the lizard races, and he won. And he didn't cheat, but the guy thought he was cheating, as all losers in a poker game don't like losing. And so he was going to kill Han, so he didn't have to pay the money. He didn't lose his money. And Han went to try to get his blaster out of his holster, but the front sight caught, and he couldn't get it, and Chewie ended up saving him. And so that's when Han goes into the ship after, and he cuts off that front sight and files it down nice, and Chewie's looking at him all weird, and he's like, I don't need it to take a shot really like that, if they're that far away, it won't affect, the blaster won't have much effect anyway because of its range. Mm-hmm. The blaster that he likes, it's a very powerful blaster, but its range isn't very long. So, it's more of a quick point and shoot, and he's more of a shoot first, ask questions later kind of guy anyway. So in that kind of situation, they're generally relatively close. And so if I miss, well then I guess I'm meant to die.
Yeah, pretty close range type of guy anyways.
So, that's how. But, so then they get stuck with each other for a while. But,
kind of sounds like Qui-Gon and Jar Jar with that life debt.
Yep, the life debt thing. Except that Qui-Gon actually ended up deciding to use the life debt to save Jar Jar from getting killed.
Han didn't?
And it helped them a little bit at the same time. Han never used the life debt against Chewie.
Oh.
Like, he never did. He didn't want Chewie around at first anyway and all that, and he just got stuck with him. And then eventually they became friends, but Chewie was sworn to him as a life debt, and he just...
What if Chewbacca didn't want any of this, but Han didn't give him his out, so he just had to be with him the whole time until Han
There wasn't any getting out. Like, Han told him to leave him the fuck alone, basically. Like, he didn't want, no.
Well, he should have said
and the thing is when he was trying to do that, Chewie would get mad because Chewie's a Wookiee and they honor certain things, and Chewie swore a life debt. So until Chewie dies saving Han's life, or Han dies of old age...
Yeah, but you could also said, your life debt is paid off. And then Chewbacca could do what he wants.
That's not how it works.
Like with Jar Jar.
That's not how the Wookiee life debt works.
Well, that's how it was with the Gungans. But they're two different species, but I don't know.
Like, he's sworn to Han for life. Till either Han dies because he doesn't manage to save him, or to protect him, or Han dies of old age, or Chewie dies saving Han. Chewie's with Han.
Yeah, that would kind of suck for Han.
I mean, he's not fucking in his damn bedroom.
Yeah, but that would still suck.
Why? We can maybe a little bit, but not really. Because, I mean, he just about got killed by a freaking supersized lizard race for playing in a game and winning, and he didn't like it, and he just about got killed, and Chewie saved his life.
Yeah, but from Han's perspective, he just wants to be on his own. He just wants to do his own thing. Yeah, thanks for helping me, but I'm off to do another fucking thing.
Well, after that, they kind of sort of just
And
were
Wookiees,
stuck.
they kind of smell, you know?
They were
So
kinda
he's probably not happy about that, especially in a ship, tight quarters, just smelling Wookiee all day. That'll get
I don't
on
think
there
it's
sometimes.
probably that bad.
Well, probably not.
If you can handle 2 cats, homie, you can handle a Wookiee.
Yeah, but after, like, a couple years, it wasn't that bad. But, like, at the beginning, you know, he must have fucking hated it. Every day he woke up.
Yeah, but Chewbacca was very well with repairs and a lot of things. And they worked together. He was the captain and he was his co-pilot. At first, you know, it was kind of all business, but then they became friends, and then very close friends through all their antics. Or I should say, through all Han's antics, and Chewie just come along for the ride. Because very, very little did Chewie actually start anything. It was usually something Han was doing. And one of it's running drugs. They were drug runners.
Yeah. For Spice and...
Spice.
Yeah. Are they doing, I don't know, I was listening to a book about them transferring crystals, like kyber crystals.
Yeah, they did other things. But Han had a rule. Han had a rule that he wouldn't do humans. Like, slavery kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't do that, and somebody tried to hire him for that once. And
what about aliens? Is he racist?
His best friend's a Wookiee. I highly
Well,
doubt
you
it.
said human. You didn't just say any life, like living sentient life form, intelligent life form.
I don't think Han is xenophobe in any way. He never, everything I've read on him, he didn't really much care about what somebody's race was.
There has to be a racist in Star Wars. I think Lando was.
There was. The Empire was racist.
Kind of, but they just didn't like anybody. They just wanted their own militia.
They were, okay, so the Empire was basically the version of supremacist.
Yeah, they were kind of based off of Hitler and whatnot when they were first going off on.
It's not quite that way. It's more of kind of like the neo-Nazis, white supremacy crap.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay?
getting at.
So, or the skinheads or whatever. It's white supremacy thing, which is, you know, bullshit, but whatever. But take that idea, but make it towards all human supremacy over the other races.
Yeah.
And so the other races were like technically second class to humans in the Empire.
Yeah, I can see that.
So Palpatine was racist.
You think he was racist?
Palpatine was racist. He was definitely a xenophobe. Vader, I don't really know if Vader much really cared. It's just how there were xenophobes in the Empire's ranks, which was very surprising that Thrawn made it up as far as he did, because Thrawn's an alien. He's not human.
Yeah.
Okay? And we say that alien like it's something different. If we went to somebody else's planet, we're an alien, technically. Technically, the guys that landed on the moon, those guys are aliens on that moon.
Yeah, everybody's alien or something, just...
Yeah, so in actuality, so we're going to say the
we're prejudiced.
They were xenophobes. So anything that wasn't human, that was a sentient being, a lot of them were xenophobic towards them. They could do things in the Empire and be part of stuff, but they could never actually get high up, really, that far. It was ran by humans.
Yeah, you don't see any aliens running the Empire.
Do you see any in a Star Destroyer? No. No. You do see Vader hiring a bunch of bounty hunters.
Yeah, but that's
races.
bounty hunters, which most of them, they just see them off as sleazy people. Just running for money.
Exactly. They were very much. I mean.
So yeah, I could see your point of like, yeah, everybody's below me because I'm human.
That's how it was under the Empire. Like, if you weren't human, you were not going to be able to really go anywhere.
But fucking Wookiees, they should be
like,
having the dominance.
So that was kind of a crappy thing about the Empire.
Yeah, they were good people. They were blowing up planets.
There were good people in the Empire, and there were people that.
Yeah, there's good people everywhere, but
that truly and utterly believed in the Empire for the good that it actually could potentially do. Because the Empire can bring order and stability to stuff. It can. The only thing is if the leaders in that area are going to be dictators.
And they always are.
And, well, yeah, they're usually military dictators. But if they're going to be an asshole dictator, or if they're going to be, these are the regulations, we got to kind of stick to the regulations, but I'm not going to be a dick about it.
Because some planets, they thought the Republic were dictators too. Because they just wanted to stay neutral in the war. And sometimes the Republic would be like, no, sometimes we have to set war right here. This isn't your decision right now.
Yeah.
But that's war. I guess that's just a whole war topic instead of a whole process.
But so, on that note, back to what we were originally going on. So,
I have no idea.
Then we have how many beings are in the Star Wars galaxy.
Oh, yeah. All the way back there. Okay.
Okay. Over 100 quadrillion sentient beings. All right.
That's a lot of species of sentient beings.
So think about it. That means that there's more beings in the Star Wars galaxy
on planets
than Joe Biden has tried to give money to for the fucking Ukraine war.
Yeah, but that's still a lot.
Because we're talking 100 quadrillion. Okay, I don't. Does the whole entire world have that much money? I don't think so. I think we're still in like hundreds of trillions, just the planet.
I don't know. I don't really believe in money, so I just stay away from that.
So, like, I'm just trying to give a perspective of how big of a number that is.
Well,
we are at like 3.4 billion.
I thought we were at 3.7 billion right now.
Well, okay, I might have an old number. But any which way, we're at the billions. Yeah. We're not even at the tens of billions. We're not even nowhere near touching the 100 billions.
We're on one planet. They're talking about hundreds of planets.
We're at over 100 quadrillion sentient beings. That is a ridiculously huge number to think of.
Yeah. Is that, like, each, like, race of alien?
That's in total of everybody.
Oh. Oh, that's from, like, all the books and comics and whatnot? Like, everybody that they're talking about?
That would
not
be...
Not the side people?
The galaxy is home to between 5 and 20 million... Between 5 and 20 million sentient species... and over 100 quadrillion sentient beings lived in 1 billion star system, interacting with each other through travel, diplomacy, trade, politics, and war. So, okay. So, depending on if you're in the Empire or if you're in the Galactic Republic, it's going to be between 5 and 20 million sentient beings. Because I'm pretty sure that the Empire thinks anybody that's not a human is barely a sentient being. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's a big range, though, between 5 and 20 million. That's big. Between 5 million and 20 million. So that might be possibly...
I don't know where they're getting these numbers from.
That might be possibly through the whole entire canon. So maybe way back at the very beginning of the reaches of time that have the Jedi just beginning. Which, by the way, guys, that's something that I needed to correct, because I said it was in the Old Republic stuff, but there's no way that it could be Old Republic era, because in the book I was reading, when they were still using swords and they were learning both sides of the Force and all that, they didn't have hyperdrives yet. So there's no way that they could have the galactic,
I think that's on episode
Republic.
2.
No. This is book.
No, when you were talking about it. Or,
yeah, maybe it was episode 2. Yeah.
If you haven't listened to it, go check it out.
So maybe there was 5 million then, because that's like thousands and thousands of years. It's supposed to be like way back.
Yeah, it's
because
like...
one time I saw a timeline, and there's like thousands of years.
Yeah, it's way further than our timeline.
Back when they first discovered the Force on that planet. Okay, when they first figured out they could use the Force, first discovered it, first started messing with it, and then they got to that point where they were at was only a small section between there, and then there's a huge section of no hyperspace stuff, and then bam, they got hyperspace and people are going out and everything, and then you had stuff going on, and then you had the Mandalorian Wars, and in the Mandalorian Wars, the Jedi set out a certain task force to fight them. They started using dark side powers. They turned Sith. Then the leader of those guys ended up getting his head conked and lost all of his memory. And
yeah, that's Darth Raven.
And came back again as a regular Jedi.
Yeah, and he had a split personality, and he had another spirit ghost that was his light side, and I think it was the dark side that was in his body.
But, and then from there, you go, was it a few thousand years, and you had something else happen, and then it was the fall of the Civil War, the Galactic Civil War, and then the Empire and the Battle of Yavin. So what they did is they set the Battle of Yavin when the first Star Destroyer blew up, Episode 4, A New Hope, or not Star Destroyer, Death Star blew up. So they put that, because A New Hope was the first video, so they put that as the starting point of the timeline for way back in the past and from that point into the future.
Yeah,
in that timeline.
Before the Battle of Yavin. BBY.
How are humans in the Star Wars galaxy? Some believe humans hailed from Coruscant, one of the galaxy's co-called core worlds, but that theory was never proven. Many humans changed the course of the galactic history, from politicians to slaves and even Jedi Knights. So they don't know necessarily where the humans actually come, so they don't know the human world in Star Wars galaxy.
Well, I did read something on Google saying that how many light years the Star Wars galaxy is away from ours.
Why is half the Star Wars galaxy unexplored? A cosmic bramble of hyperspace and anomalies situated along the galaxy's western edge of known western edge known as the Galactic Barrier prevented exploration of the unknown regions. Since the advent of the hyperdrive technology and the dawn of galactic civilization, save for a few worlds which could be reached with cautious hyperspace jumps.
Yeah, you gotta look into that. I have a little list I'm rolling on.
Well, yeah,
it's
they
about
have
the unknown regions.
Yeah, they have the unknown regions.
That stuff's scary.
Yeah.
All the stuff that's out there. Like they said, like, oh no, I was like 2 videos deep on this, and each one they said was worse than the last.
Well, here goes something to say for possibly why Coruscant may actually be the human homeworld originally. I mean, you would think that there'd be a bunch of humans that would go out and expand out across the galaxy from their homeworld, but a large number of them eventually would still be at the homeworld, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and they'd spread out and colonize and grow every place else, you know, like the disease that we are.
Not wrong.
But Coruscant's population is 2 trillion.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever the heck we got going on Earth, man, that ain't.
Yeah, but they got levels.
Okay.
Because their whole planet's one big city.
Well, not all the way into the core. It's just the crust that has it, but
yeah, but
it goes down.
Levels.
There's the Coruscant like normal, and then you have the.
I think the
further down you go, the sketchier things get.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're almost gonna make a video game about that.
Yeah, they were, and
it looks really good.
But 68% is humans, and 32% are other sentients. So that is a huge number.
We're just good at it.
But the thing is what I want to know is you have those old books that are before the hyperspace, but I'm pretty sure those people that were in that books was humans.
Well, some other aliens could have invented hyperspace before, and they could have just been doing their own thing.
Well, I was thinking,
before they got to that planet.
I'm pretty sure that there was humans in that. It was humans. So my thing is, all right. So there's some here. Okay. So there's a lot of people. We're going to a little sidetrack, a little more towards Earth lore, and kind of like a whole nother genre of movies and shows. But
it's the in-between universes.
This is a different star thing altogether. But so I mean, there's like kind of like a thing of ancient alien kind of thing here on Earth, right?
Yeah.
And that we've had advanced civilizations before, and that there's been falls in the civilizations, and we basically went back to the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if it's long enough ago, lots of that shit could be around and nobody'd even know it. It'd be hidden, whatever. I mean, the plates on the planet move, volcanoes, earthquakes. I mean, if we abandon a city within a couple hundred years, a lot of that city's going to crumble.
That's what happened in the Star Wars universe. There's a lot of back and forth between Jedi and Sith, and then a lot of Sith died and a lot of Jedi died. It was always back and forth war. Sometimes bringing them back to the Stone Age, but they always came back, always fought.
Yeah, so what if the humans aren't from Coruscant? And I mean, because of humans, I mean, we're humans. So, I mean, we're in a galaxy that's far, far away from this galaxy, and this happened a long time ago.
A long, long, long time ago.
So could maybe our ancestors on Atlantis, maybe they had some kind of gate and they freaking traveled to a galaxy far, far away, and
they gotta open that gate. I'm trying
landed
to go.
on Coruscant.
I'm trying to be a
or
bounty
the
hunter.
Force planet, or whatever. Because I mean, there's humans in these stories before they have hyperspace technology in that stuff, and there's other. And I'm trying to figure out how they manage to have that happen without that. I mean, you got stasis ships, maybe.
Well, they said it wasn't invented yet, or they didn't invent the travel.
Hyperspace. This was before the hyperspace explosion, where people started to figure out hyperspace.
But there's still
and the
some
hyperspace
people having
wars,
it, right?
No, this was before they had that and the hyperspace wars, because there was hyperspace wars. Once people got hyperspace and they were able to go everywhere, and they could, and there was wars.
Yeah, but there could have been 100 years before that they could have had 1 or 2 ships just going around checking things out.
I'm thinking it was. I think it was well before then.
Like what we're doing, we're just going from one planet to another. That's not that far away, but
no, this was before the. This was before a decent time before hyperspace. I'm pretty sure. But so my thing is how the heck do we got humans everywhere?
No, I don't think they thought that much. That's that much true.
So, guys, if you guys know some books and things that I can read, let me know, because we have a YouTube channel now, so we're actually going to be able to accept comments and everything. The first few episodes was just exclusively on Spotify, but now we've managed to get the YouTube set up, and I will be getting the first episode transferred over sometime today, hopefully, yet, before I go to sleep for the day. But it's Skyriver Cantina on YouTube.
Are you gonna have that stuff uploaded by the end of this week for them to see it on YouTube?
I'm going to hopefully have the first episode on there tonight, and then I'm going to attempt at some point throughout the week to get the other ones on there.
Okay.
So that is
you guys can go check that out.
All on there, at least by the weekend. Have all of them on there, so that way they're on the YouTube, so you guys can actually finally be able to communicate with us and let us know what you think. And if you think we're just on some BS or not.
Yeah, if you have any questions that you want answered, or off-the-wall questions that you just want talked about, topics, anything, let us know in the comments.
Oh, yeah, that stuff. I can't look at that stuff because that doesn't work.
What kind of force powers would you want if you had the force? Would you want to transfer to the dark side to get some dark side force powers?
Actually, there are some pretty decent light side force powers that work just fine. Because of the type of lightsaber I would have, which would be a white one. I believe that was kind of more like the Sentinels or something. I could look that up again, and we can maybe make an episode about lightsabers and like the different colors and things like that.
Yeah, it would be a great Jedi.
So,
they usually have yellow.
The thing about it is I mean, quite honestly, Jedi mind trick, man.
Jedi mind trick?
And the thing is check this out. That actually should be a dark side power. Because
that is manipulation.
And the thing about it is they don't make it a dark side power. And one time I was reading in the book, somebody made a comment about it, if I remember right, because they were watching just how much, they were seeing just how much that Luke and a few of the other Jedi were doing Jedi mind tricks on people. And, they weren't even, like, Luke and them weren't even thinking about it.
Yeah, I think that's
it just became like second nature to them, and they were just Jedi mind tricking them. These people, just the wave of the hand and saying the thing, and like, technically, man, I think that should be, if you abuse the power, like there's a difference between trying to use it as a tactic to be able to get something accomplished for good, or, if you're a good guy and you're trying to avoid detection from the bad guys, okay, but using it to manipulate a situation to your benefit for the wrong reasons, it should definitely be a dark side power.
Yeah, that's on the cusp of being dark side. Like, Force Judgment, the good lightning. Like, Plo Koon, he shoots lightning, but he's a Jedi. It's called Force Judgment. Like, it's not as strong as Sith lightning.
It's just kind of like a taser.
Yeah.
He's not using it to torture so much as he's using it to incapacitate.
Yeah.
And it's a way, I'm gonna knock you down with this, so that way I don't have to. It'll incapacitate you. We won't have to fight. We won't have to do none of that. So it's more like using it like a taser.
Yeah, there's some, like,
where Palpatine uses it to.
Oh yeah, he don't give a fuck.
And torture and hear the screams, and he just loves it. Like he's into it.
Yeah, he loves that little lightning.
He's into that. That's like his favorite thing.
I love the Force Rage.
Oh, the Force Rage is...
I heard about it. Like, they said if you get into it too long, there's no chance for going back to the light side. You're just stuck into the Force Rage.
That's kind of how it is in the game, the 3.5 version of Star Wars role-playing game. So basically like Star Wars that was based off of the rules of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 version.
Okay.
So the rules worked the same. That's kind of basically how they had it set up. Like you had light side points and dark side points, and when you did bad things with the Force and stuff, and some of your morals things, you would get dark side points. When you did good things, you'd get light side points. So if you did good things and you had some dark side points, you could be redeemed from the dark side. But there was a point, if I remember right, there was a point of no return.
You think there's a point on the good side for no return to the dark side?
No, I don't think so.
No, there's just always a constant pull. That's kind of shit.
There's always a constant pull.
That's kind of shit.
Like you could turn around and you could turn around as the evil person and flip sides right at the end of everything and do the right thing.
Yeah, Darth Vader did.
Right, but Darth Vader wasn't beyond no return.
Yeah.
But you get beyond the no return point, and something could happen, and you could technically do a good act.
I think Darth
But you wouldn't. You're too far gone to be fully redeemed. You wouldn't be able to be redeemed. So basically, you would still end up, after you died, you'd still end up being a dark side Force ghost. If you wouldn't become a light side Force ghost, you would be a dark side Force ghost. But you'd be a dark side Force ghost that the other dark side Force ghosts wouldn't like. I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't like each other anyway, but they wouldn't like you because that probably would be at the end of your life. That act that you would do of good would be probably the last act that you ever did as an evil Force user, and then you switch. like Vader, but Vader wasn't past that point. But the thing about it is past that point, I think the reason why they put that is past that point is you've just become so evil and so selfish and so everything that you're too corrupted.
Yeah.
Like, the corruption is it just you're just way too corrupted by the dark side force that you can't get past it at all to make it out. Where the light side doesn't hold you to it. That's the other thing about the light side. The light side doesn't hold you to it. The light side is very much so, this is of your free will.
I'm gonna still go with Grey Jedi. I'm always in that balance. I'm gonna have that the motto of what they think about the Force and whatnot tattooed on my leg, right on my calf.
Oh?
Yeah. That's how strongly I believe in being a Grey Jedi.
I need to get the full Assassin's Creed.
Where are you gonna have that tattooed on the back?
Because, and I've tried looking it up, but, and I used to have it memorized, the little one that you hear. But, you know, where there's truth, there's nothing but lies, you know, and all that crap. When nothing's permitted, everything is permitted.
No, I'd probably be more on the dark side of being a Grey Jedi. I don't think I'll be, like, particularly fully balanced.
To be honest with you, Grey Jedi. See, I don't know much about the Grey Jedi. You'll have to school me on that on an episode.
Alright, I'll write some stuff down.
So,
look into it more.
Jedi mind trick. Depending on how it's used, it should be considered either a light side or a dark side power. Force lightning.
I don't mind that.
That's pretty evil. But then you got the opposite, which is force judgment, which is kind of like a less lethal, trying to be a less lethal way of incapacitating somebody so that it doesn't have to taser.
Yeah.
You got force push, and that one's kind of debated if it could be bad or good. But my thing is,
I think that's neutral because there are a lot of neutral forces.
Should be neutral.
But they said that lightsaber throw is more of a Sith thing than a Jedi. Oh no, I've seen a couple Jedi do.
Well, the lightsaber throw is kind of, sort of, a variant of basically just doing a push.
But it's more of an attack thing.
Yeah, but so's a push.
Well,
but the lightsaber throw is kind of is basically a variant of doing a force push and a force pull. Because you're throwing your lightsaber out and you're controlling it with the force, kind of like a push. And then you're pulling it back to you when you're done throwing it.
Yeah, but that's still using the force for intent to hurt.
Yeah, but the thing is, they use the force for the intent to hurt.
Well,
because they have they have force powers that enhance their strength, their dexterity, their combat awareness, their physical endurance. They have those force powers, and they will tap into that force to make themselves stronger, faster, and to take more damage while they're fighting with a lightsaber. What's the difference doing that and then just using the force to throw the damn lightsaber 20 feet over there to get the guy because I can't get to him in time and hit him with the lightsaber and pull it back?
Well, I think
they're already tapping into the force to commit harm to somebody anyway.
Yeah, but I think they're just there for like a defense because they already have soldiers for the rebellion or not. What are they called? Like in episode 1. Are they called the Rebellion? The Republic? Before they got an army?
Yeah, there was soldiers for the Republic.
Yeah, and the Jedi, they were only there.
It just wasn't like a massive army, but there was an army for the Republic. The Republic Republic had to have an army. It just wasn't a huge army.
Yeah, but in the
It
Jedi
a very
were
small standing one, probably on Coruscant.
Yeah, they're for protection. That's what their job is, to protect. Now, if you're throwing a lightsaber, that's more of an act of violence than protection. In my book.
But you're talking about soldiers and then going to Jedi. No.
Yeah.
Okay. You have you as a Jedi or a Sith,
not a soldier,
or a Sith can tap into the Force to boost your strength, boost your stamina, boost your reflexes. You know, boost yourself.
Yeah,
you can tap into the Force to do that, and then you are then in a fight attacking people and causing harm to people. Because the Jedi also fought. They did fight people. Like, they would go and they would solve conflicts and things. Like, they went to go try to solve the conflict on Naboo. You see it with the droids, they fight mostly. But they do that with sentient beings, too. And so there have been times that they've had to fight and kill people.
Well, sometimes they have to,
and they pull on the Force to do that. When they fight, they're pulling on the Force when they're fighting, and they're enhancing their strength, their dex, their all that, and that's what helps them to sense the lightsaber bolt or the blaster bolt and block it with the lightsaber. That's using the Force, too. And you can do that and bounce the lightsaber bolt back and kill the guy shooting it.
In the book I'm listening to, Qui-Gon was talking about that to Obi-Wan. About, that is, lightsaber isn't an act of violence, but everything is an act of violence. It's the way, if you choose to go into that path. It's like what you're talking about.
Yeah, when they go into combat, there's gonna be the intent to harm.
But that's still bad.
No matter what. So my thing is that throwing the lightsaber, being considered a Sith power, to me, that seems kind of. It might be that the Sith do it, but more than the Jedi. But that's because I think that's because it's more associated with the Sith, because the Sith are a little more reckless.
Yeah.
than the Jedi. The Jedi, like Obi-Wan always preached to Anakin, you hang on to your lightsaber is your life, right? He's constantly, and then Anakin could never keep a hold of it. But the thing with that is you hold on to your lightsaber, don't lose your lightsaber, and then the Sith are throwing their lightsabers, because the Sith are more reckless. The Jedi are not reckless like that. They hang, so that's maybe the reason why people see the Sith do it, and they associate it to a Sith more, because of that, is what I think maybe is what's going on. Because in actuality, what's the frickin' difference?
Well, I don't think Sith
you block a blaster bolt and shoot it back at the guy that shot it, or you block it and shoot it at the guy that's over, and block it and it hits that guy over there instead. You still was using the Force while doing that. And so if we're going to consider an attack with a lightsaber being thrown as a dark side power, then using the Force to block the blaster bolt and shoot somebody else with it with your lightsaber by reflecting it over to kill them, then that in actuality is also killing and harming somebody with the Force. So then technically everything is dark side Force powers, and there is no light side. They just want to say that they're better than the other ones, and the other ones want to say that they're eviler than the other ones.
Well, Qui-Gon was kind of like on this cusp of, yeah, it is bad side, but it's the way you're doing it to make it a good thing. It's all about point of view.
Because, I mean, if a Jedi threw his lightsaber to attack a combatant, they're in combat. There's not much difference between him throwing the lightsaber to kill the guy than him jumping over there or running over there to kill the guy, or blocking a blaster bolt to kill the guy. The outcome is all the same. So throwing the lightsaber to kill him, I wouldn't see as an evil act, because the whole point, you're in combat and you're trying to kill each other. That's what's happening. The Sith do it more just because they're reckless.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to be. They're not supposed to be soldiers. What they always say is they're keepers of the peace, not soldiers.
Yeah, but they fight and kill just like everybody else.
Yeah, because they kind of have to because of the whole war thing going on.
Besides the war, the Jedis did fight and kill people.
Yeah, and there was also Sith that had the war, but if there was any war or Sith, why would they be going around killing people?
They have had to fight and kill people. Okay, just like I said, when they went to Naboo to try to, clean that mess up, they get sent out to do that. Like, Jedi get sent out to do that all the time. They're the peacekeepers.
Yeah, because
just like law enforcement officers are supposed to be the peacekeepers. They get sent out to deal with a situation, and sometimes that situation ends up with a gun being used or a taser being used, or whatever. Somebody, and sometimes nothing bad happens, and sometimes somebody just gets arrested and go to jail, and sometimes they don't find out what happened at all because nobody's around when they get there.
Well, that's why they got the soldiers.
That's the whole point of the Jedi, was that they're the peacekeepers. Well, they get sent out, and sometimes they had to kill people. It happens.
Yeah, it kind of does happen, I guess.
So my thing with that is what was the intent? Is that basically makes it in between the dark side and the light side.
Yeah.
What was the intent? Was the intent because of evil, or was the intent because it had to be done and there wasn't any choice in the matter, and I don't really condone it and I regret it, but I still had to do it. So the difference is between a bad soldier or a good soldier, because really that's what they are. They want to just make themselves fancy, but that's what they are. They're soldiers. They can just get over it.
Alright, well, this is the end of number 4 of the podcast, the Skyriver Cantina podcast with
Dan the Man
and Zane Reels. We'll catch you back next time. Go check out our YouTube channel.